Hi, I'm Signe Miranda from the Creative Leaders. Welcome to Authors, Artists, and Entrepreneurs. I'm interviewing Chris Birkett today. He's a singer-songwriter, an award-winning producer, and albums that he's worked on have sold over 100 million copies, so he's has a lot of experience to share with us in the music business. Thank you. Welcome, Chris, and thank you for doing the interview.
Thank you, Signe. It's a pleasure to be here.
Awesome. So, what I'd like to get started with is how did you get into music and what inspired you to be a songwriter?
Um, like most artists, I got into music because I had a musical childhood, and it was for me. It was a savior because I grew up in a really poor family with a wicked stepmother who hated me and my sister. So I bought my first guitar when I was 8 years old out of pieces of wood, and I just started getting into trouble like all my friends and beating up people and you know stealing and being arrested. I would sit at home and practice, learn all my favourite songs like Beatles and the Led Zeppelin and Deep Purple, and I'd sit there and practice and learn everything off my little vinyl record player. So that's how I got into music. It's been in me. I was born with it, but it kind of manifested, started to surface at the age of 8.
Yeah. And how did you get inspired to become a songwriter?
Um, I think I wrote my first song when I was kind of about 19, I think. Um, for me, songwriting was a natural progression to expressing myself through music. I wanted to write. I wanted to be able to write songs like the ones I was hearing. Like I was a big Beatles fan, so when I heard like a song like Strawberry Fields or I Am the Walrus or something like that, I was so touched by that. I just thought, wow, I wish I would like to be able to do that too. Write a beautiful song, something that really had a message and had a melody that just made you want to cry or laugh, or it's just so I. It was I just for me it was a natural progression. Like as I mentioned earlier, I was playing, singing, and in my early years, in my teens up to my early mid-20s, I was a professional full-time musician, and I just got into playing around on piano or guitar and just like letting these melodies come to me. Actually, I've never actually written a song, but I've channeled very many, and the songs come through me. They don't actually come from me. So that's part of the process, which is I find really beautiful.
That's awesome. And I've heard songwriters talk about that before, how the songs are channeled through them and they come out almost completed sometimes.
Mm.
And
Yes, it's. I believe that every art form, which ever has been or ever will be, is all out there in the cosmos, and we just have to tune into it. Whether it be a painting, an idea, an architectural design, a piece of music, melody, a poetic expression. I believe that the poet Rumi is still with us. He's one of my favourite poets from the Sufi culture. I think his energy is still here, and you can pick up on that if you really listen for it. So I think it's out there. I believe we're like antennas.
yeah. And how do you use that experience as a songwriter when you're producing other artists?
I kind of when I'm producing an artist, I make a conscious effort to get out of the way of the what I call the divine expression of art, the artistic creation. In other words, I don't impose my own egocentricity on the direction or the content of what the artist is manifesting. So, and that's probably why I get on so well with a lot of female artists, because I believe the feminine principle is on the rise. It's very powerful now at this time in our history, and as a result of being subsided and downtrodden for the last few thousand years, the feminine principle is on the rise. I don't have I don't have that attitude of it's my way or the highway. It has to be like this. I try to allow everything to come out of the artist which they wish to express. And then, if I feel it needs to be edited or improved or changed, then I'll bring my own experience into that process. And it's almost like I got the icing on the cake, or the presentation of the idea. But I try to always allow the idea to happen first before I get in the way of it. So, in a nutshell, I get out of the way of the process of artistic flow.
Yeah.
As a producer.
And
of course, producing is much more than arranging music. It's also has a technical aspect. So I have the good fortune to have been a recording engineer. I did an electronics degree when I left school. So I have that ability to understand the technology that's going on around the process, because you have to have technology, obviously. Mm-hmm. Just this simple act of recording is a technological process. But I understand the technology well enough not to allow it to dictate the direction of the recording. Whereas I see a lot of people tend to rely on technology, i.e. your average beat maker or, dance producer. They tend to rely on the technology to help the project, which I don't do that. I have the technology serving the music as opposed to the other way around.
Yeah, some people use technology as a way to create, and then they rely on
they grab their laptops and they grab a few loops, and the technology is really doing their work, and all they're doing is selecting what they like. So it's a selection process. It's not a creative process. It's more of an editing process, and that's the problem with a lot of current music. It doesn't come from that divine inspired source. It's coming from another direction completely. And that's another subject which we probably need all night to talk about, which is motive. Because I don't believe that songwriting or music creation should ever be goal orientated. It's a gift, and as a gift, it should be allowed to just express itself without any I want to hit record or I want to make this kind of song or that kind of song. Because as soon as you put a goal on it, it is the motive is no longer serving music. You're trying to make music serve you. And as Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan said, who's one of my favorite singers ever, he's from the Sufi culture, I am in the service of music.
Yeah. And that approach to music has served you very well, because you're creating music from your heart and from your soul, and it has connected with millions of people, the music that you produced. And the latest album that you worked on with Buffy Sainte-Marie, Power in the Blood, that won the Polaris Prize and recently 2 Junos. So how does it feel when you put a lot of time and energy into creating something like that, and then it gets that kind of recognition and connection with people?
How does it feel?
Yeah.
Oh, it feels really good. It feels good to be recognised, and I'm very, very happy for Buffy, because she's now 75 years old. We've done 4 albums together, and we just started getting recognition on the last album, which is called Running for the Drum. We got 1 Juno for that. And on this new album, we got 3 awards for it. So she's beginning to be recognised as the awesome creative spirit that she is. So, it's can only feel good about that. So it's wonderful. So awesome. It's wonderful to have to be suddenly be recognised. I've never been in this business for fame and fortune. I've always been in this business as a servant of something much higher.
Yeah.
But on a material level, when something like that gets recognised by the general public, it gives you a really warm, fuzzy feeling.
Yeah, and it allows you the opportunity to create with more people and to be connected with more people that you can share your approach to producing with.
Yeah, well, I'm new in Canada, you see, so it's a very useful thing for me to suddenly get these awards. As a person that's only been here 3 years, I now have three Juno Awards and a Polaris Music Prize attached to projects that I've worked on. So in a 3-year period, that's kind of given me a little bit of a boost because my main aim here in Canada is to help Canadian music be recognised internationally for just how good it is. Because most people around the world don't know that Joni Mitchell and Leonard Cohen, all these great artists, they don't know they're Canadian. They think they're American because there's been no structure here to help them get out there to the public. So they have to disappear down to Nashville or whatever, down to America, and then everybody in the world thinks that it's American music. And there's so much talent here in Toronto, they deserve to be heard. And that's one of my top priorities on my bucket list, is to get Canadian music recognised as Canadian music from Canadian people.
Yeah, and you're taking an international approach to connecting music with people all around the world. You started out in England, and then you were in France, and now you're in Canada. And I'm sure that there's stuff that you've learned from the different approach to the music industry in England and France that you can bring to Canada.
Can I tell you something?
Yes.
You can travel around the world without leaving this city. And that's what I like about it. It's a mosaic of culture. It's wonderful. My last album, Be Creative, just a little plug there. It was just released here last year. I have a song which is about my Greek cousin who died of cancer at the age of 42. His family asked me for a tribute song, so I wrote a song in his name called Vasilis. And I needed a real bouzouki player on this song. Bouzouki is a Greek instrument. It's a traditional Greek instrument. It looks like a kind of pear-shaped body with a big long neck. Okay. Has 8 strings. And I tried it myself because I had one, but I play it like a tourist, you know. And so I was up in the Danforth having some yummy Greek food, some calamari, and I heard this guy playing in the corner of the restaurant. He was just like amazing. His name was Demetrius Bogris. He turned out to be like 27-year-old genius. He's like the Van Halen of bouzouki players. And he was not breaking a sweat. He was just playing this amazing stuff without even trying. So I just went up to him and said, "You have to play on my new album." So, I mean, you can do that kind of thing in Toronto.
Absolutely.
You can find oud players from Egypt. You can find Darabuka players from the Berber culture. You can find everybody in this city. It's fantastic. So even though I'm an international world music traveler and I've had studios all over the world, this is so far has been my favourite place to live because it's all here.
Yeah, you could walk down like 10 blocks and find all kinds of styles of music in every venue that you pass along the way.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's very, very positive because I believe that music is a universal language, and the more we can communicate between cultures with using the music as the language, the better world we're going to have. Absolutely. In terms of integrity and coming together as one humanity. If you look at this planet from space, you don't see political frontiers and boundaries. You just see one humanity on this beautiful globe floating in the cosmos. That's what you see.
Absolutely.
So that we're going to, this city is going to enable me to get that principle across to people that we need to live as one humanity, and the music from the different cultures helps that because it crosses the boundaries of race and culture. It's a universal language. It's the most beautiful medium to work in.
And you bring in a number of different styles in your album, Be Creative, and I did want to talk about that a little bit. It's a very inspiring message that you have for people to be creative and in anything that they're doing. You talk about that in your song, Be Creative. Be creative in everything that you're doing, and that's really, really great. So that song you have in the CBC Searchlight contest right now, so people can go and vote for you in CBC Searchlight.
And it's made by Tom Omorian, who's a friend of mine who comes from Hamilton, and we used the Hamilton Ballet School on that video just to show that's just one aspect of being creative. But the song itself, as you mentioned, the first verse in the song is digging a road with full attention means more than all convention, which kind of what I'm trying to say there, which I think comes through in the lyric, is that we tend to um, think of, we categorize things in terms of worth. We think that being a CEO of a multi-million corporation is more important than being a TTC driver. But it's different energy, different vibrational activity. But when it comes to the spirit, which really is the thing that really animates us and really makes us alive, there is no difference. The real difference is whether the person is finding peace and enjoyment in whatever they're doing, and that is the real connection. That's the real path to happiness. You could be working. I did when I was younger. I did various jobs. One of them was working in a sewage farm. I only stuck it for one day because I couldn't stand the smell. But when I look back on that experience, it was really interesting, and I'll never forget it. So it was a real rich experience for my spirit to actually do that kind of. I've done all kinds of strange jobs, at various times in my life. When I was homeless once, so I was sleeping in the streets in London, and at the time you're in what you think of as a worthless situation, like you might be a construction worker doing some really horrible working out in the freezing cold. At the time you're in it, we don't have the perception to be able to really see that, in fact, it's a very valuable experience. But normally, in retrospect, you'll look back on that experience and say, that was really valuable. Now, if only we could get that perception at the time we're going through it, that would be a real miracle.
Yes.
It's all about perception. We can complain that the rose bushes have thorns, or we can rejoice that the thorn bushes have roses. It's the same event, but different perception. And if we can change our perception to our situation, it won't matter whether we're, as I said, a CEO in a multi-million corporation, or whether we're digging a road. It's all beautiful. It's all beautiful. So, and it's just our perception that stops us from experiencing that. So that's what I'm trying to say, and be creative.
Absolutely, and I'm starting to learn a lot about that, and you've taught me a lot about that in the last few months. We've known each other about a year and a half now, and I'm really excited to have you come to the song creation workshop on April 23rd to share your stories. And you've also got a show coming up at the 120 Diner on April 19th. And
oh yeah, come out to that. That'd be fun.
Yes, and you're speaking at Mo Mondays and doing some songs there as well.
Yeah, Mo Mondays is on the 25th of April, and I recommend you will come out there, because Mo Mondays is a show organised by Michelle Nire, who's a really profound, beautiful person, and it's about opening up, telling the truth about your experiences and how you learn from them. It's not like a showing off, egotistical kind of thing. In fact, you're not even allowed to plug yourself at Mo Mondays. You're not even allowed to talk about your success, or even you're not allowed to preach or try and teach people anything. You're asked to open up. So I'm going to go there with the intention of opening myself up and letting people know what I've experienced and what I've learned from it, and with an aim of hopefully them resonating in a certain way and understanding something about their own experiences.
Absolutely.
Because that's what's good about Mo Monday. So I recommend everybody trucks along there. It's at the Hard Rock Cafe on Dundas and Young, and it starts at 5. It's kind of an early thing. 5 or 6, is it? I'm not sure the exact start time, but it's on the 25th of April. I'll be there with some other people sharing our experiences.
And I've also interviewed Michelle, so I'll be posting that interview soon too.
Oh, great! He's going to be at the workshop, isn't he?
He is, yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. I've struck up a really good friendship with Michelle and his wife Barbara, and they're really nice people, and we started hanging around together. So.
Yes, and that's the song creation camp that's coming up August 12th to 16th. That you'll be a facilitator there, and Michelle will be, as well as Curtis LaBelle and T. Crane. So I'm going to be interviewing them as well. And can you tell us a little bit about the kind of experience you're going to share with us at the song creation camp?
I probably would tell one of the experiences I might recount would be something from my various past experiences. Probably one of the experiences might be, I might tell them about my work with Sinead O'Connor, or I might tell them about my work with Buffy Sainte-Marie or one of the other artists. But I've got some profound. I won't give you too much now because I don't want people to know what's going to happen. I'd rather surprise them.
Yes.
But it will be the experience I share will be very insightful, and I think people will go away thinking that they've actually got something from the workshop. They understand something which they didn't understand before. So that's the kind of thing. It'll probably be a story about my work with Sinead, but we'll see. I won't say any more for now.
Awesome, and we'll
Because I want you all to come and find out.
And we'll also be doing some exercises to help open up creativity.
Yeah.
So
you're good at that. I've been to your workshops with Taylor Abrahams, who's a monstrous talent, I must say.
Yeah.
And is he going to be there?
He's going to be on the April 23rd and 24th workshop that you'll be presenting at as well.
Mm.
So
will he be at the workshop that I'm going to in August?
We haven't discussed that yet.
Okay.
So it'll be a surprise.
Okay.
But I'm really excited to help people open up their creativity and work on their performance and all those kinds of things at the camp. So thank you so much for doing this interview. And what's the best website for people to go to check out your music and to see the show postings?
Oh yes, I have a new WordPress site now. It's chrisbirkett.ca. So Birkett's Birkett. I'm just getting into it. The reason I converted it to WordPress because I wanted to get into the back end myself and put all my gigs on there. So I've just started doing that. So it's a little bit. My recent gigs aren't in there, but they will be in the next few days. So chrisbirkett.ca.
Awesome, and I'll post the link below this video. So thank you so much for taking the time to share your experiences with us, Chris. And have a fantastic day.
Okay, well, I'll see you soon. It's my birthday this week.
Oh, fantastic. What day is your birthday?
14th of April. So.
Well, happy birthday. Congratulations.
And I'm playing at, 2 days after, I'm playing at the Niagara Food and Wine Festival in Niagara Falls. And then that evening, on Saturday, 16th, I'll be playing at the Rock Pile with my rock band.
Oh, okay.
Rock Pile in Dundas West, so you should come to that if you get a chance.
Fantastic. And they can find all that online on your website soon.
Yeah, we'll be. If I can get round to putting it all on in the next few days, I'll do it, yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Thanks so much, Chris.
Okay, Signe, thank you very much too.